So it's very difficult to say this in a few words because there are, of course, very differences in the very many localities and regions. So there, in some places, for example, you've got like 2 people to care for 80, in others you have 40 to care for 80. So there is no commonality that we really can observe. But if we look at the situation of women and girls, which is our organization, Medica Mondial's primary concern, we can observe that still the issue of protection of women from sexualized gender-based violence is not yet fulfilled. Many of the homes, for example, women don't have a key to lock their sleeping rooms. I don't talk about all the refugee homes because it's really very it differs very much from one place to another, but still there is a lot of scarcity when it comes to protection of women, and I think that's really something that politics should look after to have protection laws passed and policies reinforced. That is one issue, and the other issue is that women who arrive still are in a state of insecurity, and they don't get much of support in groups where they really can share their very often they are confined to their rooms, they are individualized. So I think that is also something that there should be more space for them, more safe spaces for women to meet. Also in refugee homes, often the situation is such that they don't have privacy, they don't have a place where they also among women can talk about what happened to them. So what we are doing is we trained about 240 volunteers and professionals who work with women and migrant women and girls, and we trained them in a stress and trauma sensitive approach. What means that? That means an approach that is very low level. It's not a trauma therapy because many women do not have access to this kind of therapy, and it's also not so useful in the beginning when they come because it's a very individualized kind of approach. So what we train professionals on is how to deal with women who survived trauma and war atrocities and sexualized violence, how to deal with them, how to support them, and at the same time how to also protect themselves, because very often we observe people who work with refugee women, they really give everything what they can and put their heart and everything into that kind of work, and they don't protect themselves by listening to all these terrible stories. So they get burned out, or in professional words we would call it compassion fatigue. So also in our approach we try to teach them or to educate them in how to also be sensitive to themselves, and imagination exercises, body exercises that helps them to also protect themselves. One is, of course, protection, as I said, safe spaces for women where they can meet, but then also to support peer-to-peer approaches of women who are since a longer period already here, who are very experts by experience, so to say, and who are really very good helpers to support newcoming women, to integrate them and to group work with them. We also, one very important recommendation would be to have psychosocial, low-level psychosocial approaches embedded into the work, not only looking at high-level clinical therapy, but also this kind of low-level approaches. And it's very important that this kind of work should not be done voluntarily by women, as women always do voluntary work all over the world, but that should be financed, spaces should be given, and a political will is needed to really kind of also promote this kind of low-level approaches for women.